We're at Fantasy Camp with 4. Yes, now you yelled at me because I called you Mr. Pignatano, so we're here with Joe Pignatano.
Attaboy.
A member of the 1969 Miracle Mets, and also, people in New York love him for many reasons. One of the other is that you were on the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Yes.
One of your first game, you got in as a pinch runner for Roy Campanella. And
No.
No,
my first game, Campanella got hit under the heart, so I had to go into play. That's how I got to be. But I played the game after that. I finished the game out. And my first at bat in Evansville, I got a base hit.
What was that like for a kid from Brooklyn to play for the Brooklyn Dodgers?
Fantastic. I tell you, I was in hog heaven. I was in fantasy land.
Now, your first start, maybe I'm incorrect, it's the first pitcher you actually caught in the game, Sandy Koufax?
Yes.
What was that? And you just told Doug about your glove. I cannot imagine catching Sandy Koufax with that glove.
Sandy was the easiest person to catch. Sandy threw hard, but he threw a very light ball. I often told people I could catch Sandy Koufax with a Kleenex. His ball was very light. See, but Drysdale, I couldn't do that.
Really?
Yeah, Drysdale threw a shot. So that was the difference.
Now, when you come to the Mets now, I assume this your relationship with Gil Hodges, you were with the Senators, and then Gil comes over to the Mets.
Right.
Gil Hodges, you see a lot of these guys here, older guys here at Fantasy Camp, wear number 14.
Right.
One of the greatest Met managers, and now in this era, and unfortunately not in the Hall, which is a crime.
It is a crime.
So many young people don't really know about Gil. What was it like to work with him?
Gil was a gentleman, a family man. He knew the game of baseball frontwards and backwards.
Come on, man.
He was just fantastic. He was light years ahead of everything. Everything. He knew. He got a guy up one day in the dugout and says, "Get a bat, go back there. The next inning, or the following inning, you might be pinch hitting, depending on what happens." And this is what happened. This guy went down, he got loose, and sure enough, he was 2 innings later, he was a pinch hitter.
You see a lot of those guys here, in this camp. Dick Charles, Ron Swoboda, yourself,
Buddy
Harrelson, Eddie Kramer, who's here. That particular team, people from my generation just identify completely. But you look at that team on paper. Do you think there was any other manager that could have got 100 wins out of that team?
If he was a good manager, he could have. It so happened that Gil was a good manager, and he knew. And him and Rube. I can remember this the first year of spring training when we were ending. He and Rube sat down and started from, let's see, we got back to New York. It was probably in middle of March, late March, getting ready for April for the season to start, and they already had the pitching for a month already.
Totally
mapped out how it was going to work. And another set in case we had rainouts.
This was before the age of computers. This was Antonio La Russa.
Yeah.
People say Antonio La Russa was a genius, but Gil was doing this back in 1969.
Oh yeah.
Moving to Fantasy Camp, you are a huge part of this. People gravitate to you here, the stories, the way you are with the people down at the 10-pack, with the pitching, instructing. How much do you love being here? Because it comes through so much.
I tell you what, if I can't be here, it would kill me. This is my life, and I have as much a ball as you guys have.
It comes through, and
it's fabulous. And and not only that, I'm getting paid.
You might not have wanted to say that. What's your favorite moment when you see guys out on the field? Obviously, these guys, they pay big money to come here, and from the time they get here to the time they leave, they're smiling from year to year. But is there a moment like when you're out in the field and you see a particular camper do something? Is there like that one?
Oh yeah, we see a guy that does something right, we compliment him. And we see a guy that does something wrong. My favorite line is "What'd you do as a kid?"
I heard that yesterday when the guy was on the bat. I almost died. And today, this morning, some catcher put the catcher equipment on upside down. That was great. And they give the brown and gold rope awards. What's the most unique thing you've seen in all your years down there?
Well, that it got better. The players got better.
They do.
They did get better.
From the beginning camp.
From the beginning of the camp, I tell you what, I don't think we. The first camp I went to, I don't think in the whole camp we spent a week. I don't think in the whole camp we got 15 hits. That's no lie. Yeah. So it's come a long way. It's come a long way, and this camp, the camps, and as the next year's camps and the camps behind it, it's going to be fantastic because these guys enjoy themselves here now, and they have a ball. They have a lot of fun, you know, and helping guys, especially with the bat. I mean, they hold the bat way back in the palm of their hand. Well, they shouldn't. They should hold it in their fingers. And you know, when I showed the difference, he says, "Oh my God, that is a big difference." But yeah, since these guys started to learn to play, baseball got better.
Now, the other thing, I actually was down at the field today, and I was sitting with Kirk during one of the whole games, and we were talking. The way baseball is now, the huge salaries. 10 years down the road, I mean, these guys make such big money.
Money, yeah, right.
Can you see a guy who's in today's game 10 years from now doing this? Or is this something that unfortunately has a...
I don't know. See, I don't know the mentality of the player that's playing now. See, the guys that are here, I knew them. I knew what they were like. I knew how they worked. And I knew what they'd love to do. See, now, the guy that playing today, if he loves the game of baseball, yes, I think he will be here. The guy that made a lot of money and says, I don't want to work no more, he's the guy that's not going to come.
I hope it continues, because this is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Anyone who's never done it.
But I think eventually this will phase out.
That's what
I think eventually it will phase out.
Listen, you know, speaking to you, I mean, there's a link. That's what baseball's always been great.
Yeah.
There's a link. Sandy Koufax, Don Drysdale, the greats of the games, the Brooklyn Dodgers, through the Mets, and you impart some of the stories. A guy like Lenny Randall, who played for Ted Williams. You know, there's always that lineage in baseball. And unfortunately, I think some of today's athletes have got away a little bit from it. They don't know the history of the game. But the guys here, the younger guys, they know it. And it's a pleasure to sit down and speak to guys like you and your attention to the game.
Well, thank you.
And thanks so much for spending time.
Well, my pleasure.
Joe.
Attaboy.
We're going to do it.
Attaboy.
All right, thanks so much. Joe Pignatano from the 1969 Miracle Mets and the Brooklyn Dodgers.